Greetings and welcome to another episode of Bermuda's Feel Good Early Morning Show. Good day, Bermuda, supported by Pete's House and Aliana's Restaurant. I'm Terry Tuku alongside Jackie Lambert, and we want to thank you for getting up bright and early with us on this Wednesday hump day morning. Jack, how are you feeling?
Good morning. Good morning. I feel great. I'm ready
That's
to chat today.
You're ready to chat? Okay, so she's ready to do what Jackie does best, which is talk. And so, as always, Jackie and I are ready to bring you some feel good vibes this morning. Today, we're actually going to be taking a walk down memory lane. We have a wing it style that we're going to go for today. So, we're actually going to be talking about Super Bowl halftime shows because the Super Bowl is now, 2 weeks old. And so, everyone's had time to digest that amazing halftime show. So, we're definitely going to be talking about that a little bit later on. However, we want to get today's episode started with a trend report. We've seen some things pop up on the internet since yesterday, and we definitely want to talk with you guys about it. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the fact that Hollywood Unlocked reported that the Queen had passed. And I don't know if you were living under a rock, you haven't seen it just yet, but it definitely went viral over the course of us having yesterday's show and even to today. So we just want to talk about that, the fact that it's false. So the Queen hasn't passed. She is alive and well. She didn't get reported to have COVID recently. And so that's why I think a lot of people kind of took to that particular post because, a COVID death is really major right now. So we definitely just want to talk about, do you think it's plausible for a US celebrity news media outlet to get a report from the royal family that someone has passed, someone being the Queen? Like, do you think that's even
It's weird to me. Like, I actually read the first thing I did. So somebody actually sent me one of the memes that was just like people running over to Twitter to open it up to see if the rumors are true. And I'm just like, y'all went to Twitter. I went straight to British news, like BBC, all those websites. And I was just like, crickets, crickets, crickets. I'm like, this is the biggest news break that will be happening right now.
literally?
That's the first place you went, to Twitter. Like, I know that's where we got a lot of our news, but if it's gonna be official, that's where I'm gonna go first because I already know that whole website is going to be changed. It's not gonna just be, oh, the Queen has passed. No, it's gonna be like the banners are changed. Like, everything's gonna be different. My phone wasn't even going off the hook for my friends that are in, like, the UK. Like, nothing happened, and it was just, that was the one thing I saw. It's like, yeah, it's a little fishy. And why would the Americans hear it first before us? Like, we're in the British territory and we're hearing it last. Okay.
One thing I found interesting too is like they said they got like a direct contact from the royal family, and that to me felt weird because I was like, wait, you're not even
I
in
don't
the
know.
UK, like you're not even
It's weird.
there.
All I hear is how British people talk about Americans like, ugh, there's Americans. So why do you think that they're gonna send the first bit of news to Americans? Like, that's wow.
It was very wild. It said this coming from Carlton Fleming. He says, don't trust a gossip/celebrity site. I will say this one thing. So I did watch an interview recently. I was telling Jackie backstage of Jason Lee, who owns Hollywood Unlocked. And he was talking about this issue he was having where his site got taken down and all of this. It was a saga. And he was very adamant about the fact that they check their sources and they make sure that they don't post gossip per se, that they actually are trying to report celebrity news, not necessarily celebrity gossip. And so I found it very interesting that this is probably going to be the thing that they are known for or remembered for. Because Black Twitter don't play. People on Instagram do not play. Them comments were lit. Like the memes, hilarious.
The best.
The memes were definitely the best. I'm definitely going to be watching or continuing to watch to kind of see what happens. I want to see like if he's going to say anything. I haven't been on his personal Instagram page to see if he's kind of like tried to defend the story, but I'm definitely interested to see like, how they try to clean it up because that's not something you should report and get wrong. Like
that's huge.
Very huge. Speaking of huge news of something that happened more locally. So there was a screenshot saga over the weekend. If you did not know, someone's tweet got screenshot and sent to their employer. And there were a lot of conversations happening on social media, specifically Twitter, about it. So we want to know, in what situations do you think it's okay to send a screenshot of a conversation to someone else? Like, do you think there's ever a situation where you should take a screenshot and send it to someone?
Yeah, like if somebody's threatened to murder somebody, like, hey, so and so just said this, and I already like if you already know that they're spiraling and angry, and this one starts like it really starts to seem serious, you probably should warn somebody, like preferably the police, like, hey, so I'm not sure how serious we should take this, but or like I think we should take bomb threats seriously. I know it's
My
not.
poor school. My poor school. So I don't know if people know, but Spelman College has gotten 3 bomb threats in the last month. Like literally, since this year started, 3 bomb threats. In like not even the quarter of 2021, the first quarter hasn't even completed, and we've already had 3 bomb threats.
Well,
Mind you,
Black History Month.
well, I think they were, I think 2 were in January and 1 was in February, but they did have to close the school down because 3, like, first of all, 1 bomb threat's enough.
Yeah.
3 bomb threats is like, it it feels targeted, and this Spelman College, like, we're not even
Y'all don't even
even
talk
in
to anybody.
it's not even anything controversial going on right now at Spelman for like a bomb threat, not necessarily to make sense, but to kind of be able to connect a dots to say, okay, well, there's protests happening at Spelman against something that these people don't like, so they're sending a bomb threat. But bro, 3 bomb threats.
3. Somebody's not getting a good grade, then they're working hard.
No, so apparently the first
That's crazy.
the news stations in Atlanta reported the first one was like a group of white men or a white male that did the first bomb threat. I haven't seen anything about the second two, but it's like, so in that type of scenario, like if you saw someone tweeting about possibly calling someone to send a bomb threat, then I guess I would say yes, absolutely send that screenshot to the police because yo, we need to like stop this. This doesn't make any type of sense. Bomb threats.
Y'all ain't tired of the war against Black people? Like, we don't do nothing but read books, have a little jokes, like we joke about everything, and do cookouts. Like, leave us be. We don't go on anybody else's turf. We just mind our business and drink our water.
Like even literally, like Patrice says, like even with the screenshot saga over the weekend, like I did see people cracking jokes about, you know, the whole sending up the screenshot thing because it is like,
Yeah.
bro, really? Like really? Like I don't know the full story. I don't necessarily know what triggered the person to take the screenshot and even send it to their boss or their employer. However, a lot of people live on Twitter. Twitter's for the kicks and giggles. It is not
Yeah.
for your serious antics.
There's nothing actually serious too serious about Twitter. Most times it's just jokes.
It's literal jokes.
Outlet. Like everybody's going through stuff, so we go over there and we, spread our dark humor and we go back into our corner and giggle. That's it. Like it's not
That's literally it.
serious.
And so to wrap up our trend report for today, the last thing we wanted to talk about was the fact that Bermuda's, are they under 20? I believe it was the under 20 team. I
Oh,
could be wrong. Let me pull it up on BFA's website because I feel like it was the under 20s. But they won yesterday. That's the main thing. They won their match against the Cayman Islands at 6-0 win. And the last time they played, I think it was a loss of a decent number of goals. So it definitely was we want to first of all celebrate the fact that they have secured a W overseas. I think it's at the IMF Academy.
I swear it has to be it has to be over, well, not over 20s because Ava Fazani's on the team and she's got to be like 20.
And I'm trying to figure out, they don't have it on the thing. Normally they'll say like which
But
age group. So maybe it's just our national team. Maybe that's why it's just our national team. So there is no age. It's the women's national team. That's probably what it is. That's what it is. Don't mind Jackie and I, y'all. We try to figure these things out. But we did lose against Jamaica in our first match. And so the second match is a W against the Cayman Islands. But what we really wanted to talk about, or actually was trending on social media yesterday specifically, was the fact that marketing in women's sports in Bermuda is really not a thing. And so what do you think the BFA can do better to market women's football locally and internationally? Because I feel like
actually,
there is this disconnect when it comes to men's football versus women's football, and there is a steer to promote women's football. However, crickets.
you know what's crazy? It's actually not just women's football, it's women's sports period in Bermuda. I don't think people take women's sports in Bermuda seriously until they actually go out and watch, and they're just like, oh, wait, you lot's good. Like, you know, people have told me, oh, they could beat me until they come out and watch me. They're like, oh, you hit the ball hard like a man. And I'm like, where you
Oh,
been? Like, and it's not lack of marketing. We promote tennis. We used to. I don't know what it's doing now, but we used to
hmm
promote women's tennis so hard. But you know who has to do all the work? The women, because you know who's in charge? The man. And you know who the man care about? The man's teams. So at the end of the day, if women want to, if you want it done right, do it yourself.
I guess that's the thing. So we have comments from Janae coming in. So yes, it was the women's team. So don't mind Jack and I say under 20. We was all over the place, y'all. It was definitely our women's national team. And it was at the IMG Academy. Child, just look at me. I try, I read it too, right? And it still said F. But nonetheless, we did lose against Jamaica. So it was 4-0 in our match against Jamaica. And just talking about, the lack of support from a marketing perspective for women's sports in Bermuda, Janae says absolutely facts. And so just like from what I've seen, because I did see one of our previous guests that we had on the show, and someone else like engaging on social media about marketing of sports, and it's really interesting to see, like Jackie said, the women are like at the forefront of, even with marketing in general, it's the women that are at the forefront, and yet we still see such a lack of like a full strategy. Like I think personally, I did see the FA's story yesterday, and it was miles better than the previous game. So the previous game, they only had like, I want to say 2 stories. Like it was like the women doing their warm up and then like them walking out.
Mhm.
And then yesterday it was the warm up, the walkout. There was some other clips and stuff on their story. So I don't know, they definitely watching the socials to see what people are saying, and they may have gotten a direct contact from someone, because I do feel like there is this gap and this disconnect. So hopefully we'll start to see more when it comes to, promoting of sports in Bermuda, especially women's sports, because if you want the women to actually play these sports, you got to show them what's out there for them to play.
Yeah.
On
Representation
matters. On that note, Jackie and I are going to take a quick commercial break, and then we'll be back with our topic of the day. We are taking a walk down memory lane. We're going to be talking about Super Bowl halftime shows. We're going to get some of your thoughts on them, as well as some of your favorites. So make sure you stick around. Jackie and I will be right back after this commercial break.
Same smooth sounds, different name. BCG Radio, home of Bermuda's most engaging morning talk shows, The Daily Hour and Good Day Bermuda. Download the app, available for Android and Apple devices. BCG Radio, your station for conversations and entertainment.
Welcome back to Good Day Bermuda, supported by Pete's House and Aliana's Restaurant. I'm Terri Tuku alongside Jackie Lambert, and if you're just joining us, make sure you take a minute to share today's episode wherever you're watching. If you're on YouTube, do make sure you subscribe and hit the like button. For those of you on Facebook, go ahead and react to today's conversation as Jackie and I are talking. And if you're over there on Twitter, make sure you run up those hearts. Now, today is Wednesday. We're bringing it. We're going down memory lane when it comes to Super Bowl music, the halftime shows, and all of that good jazz. So the first question we want to talk about to kind of get you guys into this conversation: what was your most memorable Super Bowl halftime show? Of all the ones you've seen, of all the ones you remember seeing, which one was your favorite? Jackie, do you have a favorite or a most memorable one?
I think the one that keeps coming to my mind is Beyonce. I don't know.
Really? The Formation?
You know why? I think it's because it caused so much controversy. So many people were upset, and I just keep thinking about the memes that came out where it's the it's the white people that's watching it, and they're just like, "Wait, Beyonce's black?" Like all that stuff. I think it's the follow-up that came with it as well, like just it as a whole. It's just so funny to me, like the memes that came out, the shock, like, and she put in that work. I loved it. Like, I had fun with it.
And I was actually just pulling it up to see like when that particular one was. I forgot the year. It was in 2013, and she had a slew of songs that she performed. What is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 songs she performed. That's like the longest list of songs that I see for a single artist, because there are some, I guess duo or more than one artist where they have more than 10 songs, but Beyonce performed literally 10 songs by herself. Shout out to her because, child.
Like, I think about the times where, like, there was one time where she was dancing or whatever, and she almost fell, and she just bumped and got right back up. And I'm like, yo, I wouldn't have gotten back up.
Exactly. I would have been like, we're just gonna see. I'd be like Mary J. Blige, just like,
Exactly.
done. Just done. So we have some comments coming in. Jason Shirley says Janet Jackson's Peep Show was definitely his most memorable one. Misha Fabla also says Janet Jackson's the most memorable. He has no favorite. And so I was actually going to say that, yes, the Janet and Justin Timberlake one was the most memorable for the moment of what happened. But then I think Justin breathed new life into it, and he tried to apologize like 2 years ago, I want to say, for like not really understanding at the time his privilege. And to me, it was like, bro, you absolutely understood your privilege at the time. You just didn't want to say nothing. And it's not that it's fine, but we get it. Like, that's the mediocre white male persona. Like, that's how they act. They just see it, see justice, and I'm like, you know what? No, I'm not gonna. Or it's not that bad. People are you're just making a big deal of it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then
no way, very passive about it, because it has nothing, like, it doesn't hurt them, and they're enjoying the publicity that comes with it, because it was a lot. I remember going on for ever.
It felt like, I was like to the fact that he had to apologize for it recently. So I think that was definitely one of the most memorable ones for the controversy. And I think from a performance perspective, I honestly have seen, so there was obviously conversation around who had the best Super Bowl performance to date. And there was, people saying Beyonce, there were people saying this Prince, there were people saying Michael Jackson, there were people saying, Bruno Mars, all of these different artists. And it's really interesting when you think about who has seen what Super Bowls for them to say which one's the best. Like, if you haven't seen the Michael Jackson Super Bowl, if you weren't alive during that time, how can you say he was the best? Like, you can't, because you didn't see it. Exactly. And people are gonna get upset. I'm like, they're like 12. Like, how are they gonna tell you that Michael Jackson was the greatest and they've only seen Beyonce, Bruno, and all these people?
And if that's not their type of music, because like, that's not their generation, if that's not their type of music, then they're not gonna enjoy it.
It's so funny when you see, like, and it's people from our generation and older who are like, who've seen these things. I'm like, bro, you can't fault someone for saying something isn't their favorite or the best if they didn't see it. Yeah. And like you said, they don't listen to that music, or like they don't listen to it from a popular perspective. They might listen to it because their parents are listening to it, or they hear it at like weddings, family events. But bro, it's not their go-to song. So of course they're not gonna be excited about that one. I want to come to this comment from Rosin Famous. She says Shakira and J-Lo. I honestly, I can say that I don't remember that one, but I don't think I watched the Super Bowl when they performed, because it doesn't stand out to me. But I do remember seeing the commentary after the fact, and them hips didn't lie.
I don't remember it.
Oh, you want to know why we didn't remember it? Because it happened on the Panorama. Theirs was 2020. So it's like, nothing against these two ladies, because bro, I like them both. But I was like, wait, they was like I was scrolling back real quick to like, maybe I just didn't see them. And it was absolutely in 2020. That's why I don't remember them. However, they actually performed a good bit of songs together as well. I wanted to see the Hips Don't Lie, though. I would have loved to see that.
But isn't it nice live with Beyonce?
It is with Beyonce, but Beyonce didn't perform it, so I'm like, dang it. I would have wanted to see the two of them perform that together. That would have been dope, for sure. So coming back to Super Bowl halftime shows, Jason Shirley says, remember when kids were saying Katy Perry was going to make Missy Elliott famous?
If only they knew.
That is hilarious. And it's really cute when you see young people that maybe aren't exposed to other artists think that it's their pop artist that's going to make someone else famous. It's like, no, she was absolutely famous before Katy Perry, and probably helped Katy Perry become famous because of her artistic, I guess, courage, because she would do a lot of different stuff when it comes to music and artistry.
Yeah, I feel like Missy definitely helped her break into a different generation because, like, I listened to Missy, but I mean, not Missy, sorry, I listened to Katy Perry, but I still listen to Missy very much. Like, come on.
Yo, I was really like watching, like, okay, what is she giving this? What is she gonna say? What is she doing? I couldn't get it, yo. I really couldn't get it. I really couldn't get it. If you're just joining us, we are talking about our most memorable Super Bowl halftime performances. Let us know in the comments which one has been a memorable one for you, which one has been your favorite. If you have a favorite, if you don't have a favorite, it's cool. No worries. Just let us know what's your most memorable one. We're gonna switch gears just a bit, and we want to talk about why do you think artists perform during the halftime show for free? Because I did not realize that they perform for free. I had to, first of all, research that. And then Forbes confirmed that they do not get paid to do this massive show. So let's talk about it. Why do you think they even would accept the request, the invitation to perform at the Super Bowl halftime for free?
Numbers. How many people watch the Super Bowl and how many people are getting excited for the Super Bowl halftime show? Like, there's always something that happens, a surprise guest, malfunctioning outfit, costume. Like, there's always going to be something, and it's the thing that everybody's going to be talking about tomorrow. So you want to be a part of that conversation. If you can't be a part of that conversation because you didn't watch it, like,
that is very true. And so Misha definitely says the advertising dollars, or question mark the advertising dollars. And then Janae goes on to say the marketing. I mean, look at this year and all the streams that the artist got after. Yeah. Absolutely. So even just speaking of that, that Forbes article that I mentioned, they actually spoke about how there were so many records broken from a streaming perspective after the Super Bowl because people were now going to find the songs that were performed, the artists that performed, and try to like follow them, add their music to their playlist, whatever the case may be. And one thing I can say about a lot of the streaming platforms, they will create a playlist post an event to, you know, help garner more interest.
Most people didn't know who, like, how many kids that are now watching don't really know who Dre is, and they're like, oh, 50 Cent, I forgot he's got nice music. And then of course they got the arguments with the parents. You don't know about 50? How you don't know? Let me learn you something about 50. So they bring up their Spotify and now they're listening to this music, they're educating the kids. Like, that's an easy argument in the house of generations, right? Like, if my mom was just like, oh, look, it's 50. And my niece is just like, who's 50? And I'm in the middle. Who's 50? Like, I take disrespect.
Like, she is 50 Cent.
You as a child of, me. Let's educate you. How you not know who Eminem is? And now what happens? We're watching Straight Outta Compton. We're watching 8 Mile. We're watching Power. We're watching anything of Janet Jackson. Like, even one of the, what's it called? Medea movies. Like, there's so many things that come along with it. And boom, look at that. Everybody's getting a little bit of money put back into their pockets. How many people on the planet? Like,
billions. But what I was thinking about, just as you were saying that, like, there are additional revenue streams for a lot of these people to kind of take them outside of the music. And what I thought was interesting in just doing research on streaming in general, like, a lot of people don't get good money for their streaming numbers. Like, it's not as high as we might think it is because we're thinking, oh, we access it 24/7, we play it multiple times, so the streaming numbers must be high. They must be getting some good royalty back. So my thought on it was like, I mean, I get that they're gonna get, more streams post, but I'm like, well, what else? Like, what else could this be? Because you just can't rely on your music in 2022. Like, that just can't sustain you like it did in the 1990s and previous years. Like, what else could it be about? Like, is it tours? Like, are they hoping that they'll be able to go on tour after this? Like,
possibly it could be a situation where they are looking for a next hustle, and the next hustle could be a feature. They're trying to get back out there, maybe, and that's easy. They're like, oh, Mary J still got it, and she can still pop, lock, and drop it still. Like, I know we see her on tour and stuff, but we see her because she's in our, like, she's in our book. But everybody else, that's just like, oh, maybe she fell off. I haven't really heard from her, and then boom, they see her performing halftime show, and next thing you know, they wanna see more.
Exactly. So even to your point, Janae says it makes them relevant for the moment, which a few of them have been quiet. I won't say irrelevant, but they've been quiet. Like Dr. Dre has definitely still been making his money with the beats for Dre Heavens and all of that, still with the production companies and all of that stuff. However, we haven't seen him in the news. So to do something like the Super Bowl now makes him popular. But it could also be a bad thing too, right? Because we saw a post about a previous relationship Dr. Dre had, and there was domestic violence involved, and people were like, "Oh, so y'all are quick to let that go or support someone for this type of violence." But we have the R. Kelly conversation, we've had the Bill Cosby conversation, like apples and oranges, apples and apples. Like, how are we comparing the music artists and their personal life? So, although it makes them relevant in the moment, is that necessarily a good thing? Is that something that they want? Because could that then backfire?
And I actually, I shouldn't say it didn't stick with me, I guess, that Dre was abusive. So when people started to send me stuff, I'm like, we like how do we protect? Like, of course now I'm everybody else's fan. So all that money that his ex-wife, I'm not sure if they have finalized their divorce or what, but I hope she got more, because hearing how he treats women and stuff, I don't know.
It brings up a question that you have to ask yourself, like, morally, do you still want to support someone that in the past did that? He could be a changed man. He may have even apologized to the person that he victimized, but does that matter? Like, is that good enough? And are we okay with watching the Super Bowl, giving them the money, and then run up their streams afterwards, going to see them on tour, buying their merch, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? Like, are we okay with that? If we are, then we are. If we're not,
Yeah.
then you should walk away from it. So this comment from Janae, she says, like they say, any publicity is good publicity. Once people are talking about them, it could be beneficial. And this is true. It could just be like, they've now become popular once again. They're now in the headlines once again. And what were you saying?
I said, look at Tinder Swindler. He's got all these deals now. Yeah,
bro.
Okay.
The way I went to go find a Twitter swindler on Instagram, because they showed his Instagram profile and I couldn't find him, I was very hurt. I was like, I want to see what this man's life is like right now.
He's got like Bentleys and Ferraris and watch deals, and like everybody's sending him.
You know what's so messed up about that? Before we transition back to the Super Bowl conversation, he victimized people and now he is being rewarded. So the life that he tricked people out of, he now has. And as a decent human being, at the very least, just giddy ladies. The money that you still like, just giving you money because you got it now. Like, before you didn't have it, all right, cool, you scammed them. Funny meme with the Vibes Cartel lyric from Business. I thought that was hilarious because it's absolutely what he did. But you have the money, you have the means now to give them back the money. Like, just give them back the money.
And even if it's a payment plan, like they have to make payment plans onto their credit cards and stuff. So
just pay off their debt. Just pay it off. Definitely took me, because I was like, yo, that's so wild that, a victimizer is now being rewarded and we're okay with it. I'm not saying we're okay with it. Like, everyone's like, yeah, he should get the money, but it's like, he is getting stuff from these brands that he possibly could have tainted their reputation if, we weren't such a capitalist society, but we move because that's the way we are. This last question as we wrap up this conversation: do you think brands like the NFL and Spotify should reevaluate their business models to better compensate music artists and musicians? And the reason why I asked this question, because I think it came up in the conversation in the comments, and Misha probably was talking about streaming. He was saying that streams are a fraction of a penny to the artist. And he's talking about, I guess it's the group, they put out a silent album on Spotify and had their fans play it on repeat just so that they can get some type of returns from it. So when you think about how a Dre, Snoop Dogg, 50 Cent, Eminem, Mary J. Blige elevate the Super Bowl's halftime show and the benefit that they're going to get, the advertising dollars that they got from it, do you think they should consider either paying them or finding a better way for them to get deals after the fact so that they don't have to come and do the show for free?
I think it should be both, honestly, because I don't know about you, but like, I do watch football, but if my team's not playing, I'm not fully invested in it. Mm-hmm. So I only watched the Super Bowl because I wanted to see the halftime show. Like, I slept everything else, and then I heard the music come on, and they started to make the announcement, and I hopped up.
Like she was never asleep.
Exactly. I started to do my little crip walk. I was very excited. Yeah.
I definitely think, personally, I do, just from someone who's done some research on this and kind of realize, and have friends that are in the industry and who talk about, like, the streaming numbers don't matter. It's really not that they don't matter, but what you think people get for stream royalties is not what they get, which it does explain why Tidal was created, why Kanye is creating his own little player now for his new album. It's only going to be available on his new music streaming app. So you have to, I guess, purchase that app or the subscription, whatever the case may be, in order to listen to his album. So it makes sense why artists are doing these other ways to get their funds. And it's frustrating because I don't think, like, Spotify has plenty of users. I don't even know how much they have, but I'm pretty sure they have millions to billions of users that they could afford to give people better royalties. Just me personally. Yeah. I just feel like they should.
I think that everybody needs to revisit their contract with Spotify.
No, seriously, because they've been in the headlines recently for the whole Joe Rogan saga, a few other issues they've had over the last couple of months to years. And it's like, at what point do we say, okay, y'all have to do better? Like, they have to see this as a problem, or everyone just leaves. Like, everyone just take your toys back home, aka your music, and go fund another one. Like, it's the strangest thing, because yes, they paid Joe Rogan millions of dollars for his podcast that talks stuff that I don't believe in, know about, even care. But the people who act like, I only go to Spotify for music. Like, I have listened to podcasts on Spotify. My podcast is on there. However, I really just listen for music. So the core creatives that created yours, but yeah, you created your platform for, honestly, like, you created your platform based on music, and they still don't get the love they should get.
Weird.
And Joe Rogan's content's old. Like, it's not even new content. Like, to me, I definitely think that they should reevaluate their business model, because it could become obsolete. It could become to a point where if they don't change it, people are just going to be like,
what's the point? I'm trying to, if I find out that the artist that I'm trying to support isn't actually getting what, like, they deserve, then why am I not going over to YouTube where it's free, or to and subscribe over there and play it over there, or SoundCloud, or just go buy their album off of Apple Music, like, or get more royalties back.
And that's what I've also seen. I've seen some artists too, like, sell their digital albums on their website. So, like, the same $9.99 you'll pay on the Apple Store or the subscription you pay for Spotify, you buy it on their website, and it goes directly to them. I'm pretty sure there's, like, processing fees that they may have to take out of it. But I feel like the Nipsey Hussle strategy and model around his album and his content makes the most sense. Like, that's really the only way you're gonna get what you deserve, because brands like NFL and Spotify get so much money for a 30-second clip.
Yeah.
For ads on the Super Bowl, like, those things are super expensive for next to nothing. Like, the time wise, that is. Like, it's 30 seconds or a minute or 90 seconds, whatever the case may be. And I'm pretty sure a lot went into producing that commercial. Meanwhile, the people that literally make your events can barely get a penny.
Yeah.
A fraction of a penny.
That's so strange to me. Like, they are the cow, and, like, they're not getting anything back. Like, they're getting something back, but it's Snickle Fritz.
But it even comes back to the whole idea around the Super Bowl halftime show. Okay, yes, they're doing it for free, and they get all these kickbacks. That's what we're assuming. We're kind of making this scenario up for them. They're getting tourists, they're getting merch, et cetera, et cetera. But why? They shouldn't necessarily be banking on the after effects. They should be paid for the time that they spend to do the show, and then whatever else comes to them after the fact comes to them after the fact.
Like, who does the lineup? Like, does somebody say, oh, hey, I want to do the halftime show, I want to put a bid in, and they go from there?
I don't know who necessarily puts it out, but I'm gonna research that because I feel like Jay-Z joined their team in some capacity to assist with that. So I'm not necessarily sure if he is the person, but I do want to research that to find out because I'd be very interested to know like how do they make their decisions or who do they nominate? Like how does this work? Because that is very interesting.
And you come to me like, hey, do you want to do a free show? And by the way, we're only going to give you $1 million towards your act. And by the way, if you want it to be better, you have to pay into the pot for your concert for us that they got all the money for. Yo, that is modern day. I don't know.
It's definitely questionable, which is also why we wanted to bring this topic to the audience to talk about, like, what are some ways that we can better support the artists that we love. And so I wanted to come to this comment from Jason Shirley. He said, that's how the rich stay rich. They are cheap. They are definitely frugal beings. And I don't understand why they have to be so, because you're not going to take that money with me when you pass away. Just saying. And then Misha Public says, Bandcamp is one of the better options. I've very seldom use Bandcamp, but I'm gonna research it a bit more. It's basically like a SoundCloud, like a what's the other one? One of those like platforms where you can upload your own music for people to listen to. I haven't used it in a while, but it is one, and it also connects to like their upcoming concerts and tours and shows they might have, and you can possibly, I think you can buy tickets to those events through Bandcamp. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like more like an all-inclusive type of platform for artists and musicians to be able to like put their content out there and get people to kind of engage with them. Now, I don't know what the breakdown is as far as, processing fees and kickbacks and royalties and all that good jazz, but I reckon from Misha's comment, it's probably a better option than Spotify, Apple Music, and all this.
I never heard about it, so I'll check it out. That's fun.
You're welcome. On that note, Jackie and I are going to take a quick commercial break, and then we'll be back with our Feel Good Vibe of the day, which is joke time with Jackie. If you are ready for some corny jokes to get a good laugh to get your morning started, make sure you stick around. Jackie and I will be right back after this commercial break.
Same smooth sounds, different name. BCG Radio, home of Bermuda's most engaging morning talk shows, The Daily Hour and Good Day Bermuda. Download the app, available for Android and Apple devices. BCG Radio, your station for conversations and entertainment.
Welcome back to Good Day Bermuda, supported by Pizza Hut and Anana's Restaurant. I'm Terri Tuku alongside Jackie Lambert. We're getting ready to wind down today's episode with our Feel Good Vibe of the day, which is joke time with Jackie. Before we do that, I just wanted to bring in this comment about Bandcamp before we transition, Jack. Misha says it hosts your music for sale, and they also have days where they don't take any commission for the sales. So everything goes directly back to the artists on those days, obviously when they take no commission. But on the days that they do take commission, it's probably better than a fraction of a penny.
Yeah.
Like, it's definitely one of the better platforms. And he says it's one of his favorites for crate digging. He follows his favorite artists and gets notified when they have new content. They can sell digital, hard copy, like vinyl and merch from them. So it's like a little shop. Maybe it's a Shopify for artists.
Yes. My brother-in-law has I need to get him some vinyl records. So that's exciting.
Boom. You're welcome again. On that note, let's transition to joke time, Jack. I'm ready for a good giggle. I'm pretty sure the audience is ready as well. What do you have for us today?
Okay. Why do hamburgers make poor witnesses?
I don't know.
They won't matter. They won't talk no matter how hard you grill them.
Leave the hamburgers alone. Leave the well done hamburgers alone.
Why did the donut maker retire?
Why did the donut maker retire? It lost his heel?
He was fed up with the whole business.
Fed up with the business. I can't.
Last one. I'm only doing 3. Terri, I don't care if you tell people what it is.
Fine.
Okay. What's the best day to eat bacon?
Friday?
Yes!
Oh, because fry. I did not.
Got fried out bacon.
I really was just like every other day doesn't seem like that funny. So we're gonna give it Friday. And so Jason got it as well. Friday. Yep.
You guys are so smart.
As always, Jack and I hope that today's Feel Good Vibe of the day has you ready to make it a great one. Thank you so much for watching and engaging with this episode of Good Day Bermuda, supported by Pete House and Aliana's Restaurant. I'm Terry Tuku alongside Jackie Lemmer. We trust we'll see you tomorrow for more Feel Good conversations. Until the next episode, peace and have a good day, Bermuda.